Have you ever looked at a map of Indonesia and noticed a rugged peninsula on the western edge of Sumbawa Island? At first glance, it might seem like just another beautiful tropical landscape surrounded by turquoise seas and rolling hills. But beneath those mountains lies one of Indonesia's greatest natural treasures. Within its communities lives a remarkable story of determination, resilience, and transformation that few people outside the country have ever heard. This is West Sumbawa Regency, a place where breathtaking coastlines meet towering mountains, where fertile valleys support generations of farmers, where fishermen greet the sunrise every morning, and where one of the world's most significant copper deposits has helped shape the region's future. It is a land where history is written not only by governments or institutions, but by ordinary people who believed their communities deserved something better. Located in the province of West Nusa Tenggara, West Sumbawa Regency occupies the western portion of Sumbawa Island. To the north lies the Flores Sea, connecting the region to Indonesia's vast maritime network. To the south stretches the powerful Indian Ocean, whose endless waves have shaped the coastline for thousands of years. To the west, the Alas Strait separates Sumbawa from Lombok Island, creating one of the most important maritime passages in eastern Indonesia. To the east, the Regency borders Sumbawa Regency, the region from which it was born. Its location has always given West Sumbawa a strategic advantage. For centuries, these waters served as routes for traders, fishermen, and explorers traveling across the Indonesian archipelago. Long before modern roads connected the islands, the sea was the highway that linked communities together. Today, that same strategic geography continues to influence trade, transportation, tourism, and economic development. Covering approximately 1,849 square kilometres, West Sumbawa may appear modest in size compared to many other Indonesian regencies, but its landscapes are remarkably diverse. From sea-level beaches to mountain peaks rising as high as 1,730 metres above sea level, the region offers an extraordinary range of natural environments within a relatively compact area. Nearly half of the Regency consists of steep and mountainous terrain. Dense forests blanket many of these highlands, acting as vital ecological buffers that protect rivers, regulate water supplies, and preserve biodiversity. These forests are more than scenic backdrops. They are essential ecosystems that sustain life across the entire region. Lower elevations provide fertile land where communities cultivate rice, corn, and other crops that have supported families for generations. Although flat agricultural land is relatively limited compared to the mountainous landscape, local farmers have learned to maximize every productive hectare through experience, persistence, and adaptation to the island's unique environment. The tropical climate further shapes daily life throughout West Sumbawa. Temperatures generally range from 21 to 35 degrees Celsius, while humidity averages around 76%. Like much of eastern Indonesia, the region experiences two distinct seasons. During the rainy season, which usually lasts from November through March, heavy rainfall replenishes rivers, nourishes crops, and restores forests after months of dry weather. January often becomes the wettest month, with rainfall exceeding 250 millimetres. The dry season, extending from April until October, transforms the landscape. Grasses turn golden beneath the tropical sun, skies become brilliantly clear, and coastal waters shimmer under endless daylight. August is typically the driest month, reminding residents that water conservation remains an important part of everyday life. Yet understanding West Sumbawa requires looking beyond geography. To truly appreciate its identity, we must return to the years when the people here believed their future could be changed through unity and determination. At the end of the 20th century, Indonesia entered one of the most significant political transitions in its modern history. The Reformasi movement reshaped governance across the nation, encouraging decentralization and expanding opportunities for local communities to participate in determining their own future. For many residents living in the western part of Sumbawa Island, this new era offered hope. For decades, the distance between local communities and the administrative center of Sumbawa Regency created practical challenges. Government services often required long journeys. Infrastructure development progressed slowly. Access to education, healthcare, and public administration did not always reach remote communities efficiently. These challenges were not unique to West Sumbawa. Across Indonesia, many regions experienced similar difficulties because of geography, transportation limitations, and the sheer scale of governing an archipelagic nation stretching thousands of kilometers. But the people of Western Sumbawa believed there was another path. Community leaders, religious figures, educators, professionals, and ordinary citizens began discussing a bold vision. Instead of waiting for development to arrive, why not create a new regency capable of managing its own priorities? The idea was ambitious. Creating a new administrative region would require broad public support, careful planning, and cooperation between local communities and higher levels of government. On March 10, 2000, representatives from 8 districts gathered to declare their shared aspiration for establishing West Sumbawa Regency. It was more than a political meeting. It represented years of conversation, shared concerns, and collective hope. From that gathering emerged the Committee for the Establishment of West Sumbawa Regency, known by its Indonesian acronym KPKSB. Its mission extended far beyond paperwork. Committee members traveled throughout villages and communities, listening to residents, explaining the vision, gathering feedback, and strengthening public support. The movement reflected something deeply important. This was not simply an administrative proposal created in distant government offices. It grew from local aspirations. It was shaped by people who understood their own communities, recognized their own challenges, and believed they could build a better future together. As discussions continued, the proposal gained increasing recognition. The Regent of Sumbawa and the Regional House of Representatives issued recommendations supporting further public consultation and evaluation. These endorsements demonstrated that the proposal deserved serious consideration. Internal evaluations followed. Community representatives revisited district boundaries, assessed administrative feasibility, and refined plans for the future regency. Eventually, consensus emerged around 5 districts that would form the foundation of the new regency. Taliwang was selected as the capital, while government institutions would be distributed across neighbouring districts to encourage balanced regional development rather than concentrating all public services in a single location. This approach reflected a broader vision. Development should benefit every community, not just administrative centres. It was an early expression of inclusive regional planning that sought to reduce inequality and improve access for residents throughout the new regency. After years of preparation, discussions, advocacy, and cooperation, that vision finally became reality. On December 18, 2003, through Law No. 30 of 2003, West Sumbawa Regency was officially established as an autonomous regency, separating from Sumbawa Regency. For many residents, it marked the beginning of an entirely new chapter. The creation of West Sumbawa was never simply about drawing new lines on a map. It symbolized local empowerment. It represented confidence in the ability of communities to manage their own development while remaining an integral part of the Republic of Indonesia. The years that followed would prove that administrative independence alone was not enough. Real progress would depend on effective governance, responsible resource management, investment in people, and long-term planning. Fortunately, West Sumbawa possessed one extraordinary advantage that would attract international attention and dramatically influence its economic future. Hidden beneath its mountains lay one of the world's most valuable copper deposits, and that discovery would change everything. For generations, the mountains of West Sumbawa stood quietly above the surrounding forests, revealing little about the immense wealth hidden beneath their rocky slopes. To the people who lived here, these mountains were sources of rivers, fertile valleys, timber, and wildlife. They were places woven into local traditions and daily life. Few could have imagined that deep underground rested one of Indonesia's most valuable mineral resources. That place is known as the Batu Hijau mine. Its name means green rock, a simple description that hardly reflects its enormous significance. Batu Hijau is recognized as one of the largest copper and gold mining operations in Southeast Asia. Over the years, it has become one of the key contributors to Indonesia's mining industry and an important driver of economic activity in West Sumbawa. Copper is often called the metal that powers civilization. It carries electricity through cities. It connects telecommunications networks. It forms essential components inside smartphones, computers, electric vehicles, renewable energy systems, hospitals, factories, and transportation infrastructure. As the world accelerates its transition toward cleaner energy, global demand for copper continues to rise because nearly every modern technology depends on it. That means the mountains of West Sumbawa are connected to a story much larger than Indonesia alone. The copper extracted here eventually becomes part of power grids lighting distant cities, electric cars traveling highways across continents, wind turbines generating renewable electricity, and technologies that shape everyday life for billions of people. For many years, copper from Batu Hijau was exported primarily as concentrate. This material still required further processing before it could become refined metal suitable for manufacturing. Recognizing the importance of creating greater value within Indonesia, plans were developed to expand domestic mineral processing capacity through the construction of smelting facilities. Rather than exporting raw or semi-processed materials, Indonesia has increasingly emphasized downstream industrial development, allowing more of the production process to occur inside the country. This strategy has the potential to create new industries, generate skilled employment, encourage technology transfer, and strengthen the national economy. For West Sumbawa, this represents more than industrial policy. It represents an opportunity to participate in a higher value global supply chain while supporting long-term regional development. Yet the story of Batu Hijau is not simply about minerals or economics, it is also about people. Thousands of Indonesians have built careers through mining operations, engineering projects, logistics, environmental management, construction, healthcare, education, and countless supporting industries connected to the mine. Around every large industrial project grows an entire ecosystem of businesses. Local contractors, small restaurants, transportation services, accommodation providers, retail shops, agricultural suppliers, training institutions. Each creates opportunities that extend far beyond the mine itself. Economic activity spreads outward, touching communities that may never directly participate in mining, but still benefit from increased demand for goods and services. Of course, modern mining also carries enormous responsibilities. Around the world, mining companies and governments face growing expectations to balance economic development with environmental protection, community engagement, and sustainable resource management. Responsible mining requires careful planning. Water resources must be protected. Waste management must follow strict standards. Rehabilitation programs must restore landscapes after mining activities conclude. Wildlife habitats require ongoing monitoring. Communities deserve transparency and meaningful participation in decisions affecting their future. These responsibilities continue long after the first truck removes ore from the ground. They represent an ongoing commitment to ensuring that today's prosperity does not come at the expense of tomorrow's generations. West Sumbawa's future, therefore, depends not only on what lies beneath its mountains, but also on how wisely those resources are managed. Natural wealth alone has never guaranteed lasting prosperity. History offers countless examples of regions blessed with extraordinary resources that nevertheless struggled because development lacked strong institutions, good governance, investment in education, and long-term vision. The greatest resource of any region is ultimately not copper, it is its people. When education improves, communities become stronger. When healthcare expands, families become healthier. When infrastructure connects villages to markets, new opportunities emerge. When young people gain skills, innovation follows. These are the foundations of sustainable development that continue generating value long after mineral reserves are exhausted. Fortunately, West Sumbawa possesses far more than underground wealth. Its surrounding seas provide abundant marine resources that support generations of fishermen. Its fertile lands produce agricultural commodities essential to local livelihoods. Its forests protect watersheds and preserve biodiversity. Its landscapes hold remarkable tourism potential, offering beaches, mountains, waterfalls, and coastal scenery capable of attracting visitors seeking authentic natural experiences. Imagine beginning the morning beside a quiet shoreline as fishing boats return with their overnight catch. The first sunlight paints the ocean in shades of gold, while distant mountains slowly emerge from the morning mist. Later, inland roads wind through green valleys toward forested highlands where cool air replaces the coastal heat. As evening approaches, brilliant sunsets spread across the Alas Strait, reminding every visitor that some of Indonesia's most beautiful places remain surprisingly undiscovered. This diversity is one of West Sumbawa's greatest strengths. Its economy does not need to depend on a single sector forever. Mining may provide momentum today. Agriculture strengthens food security. Fisheries sustain coastal communities. Tourism offers opportunities for entrepreneurs, artisans, guides, and hospitality businesses. Education prepares future generations for industries that may not even exist yet. The most resilient economies are those that embrace diversity rather than dependence. As of the middle of 2023, West Sumbawa was home to approximately 148,585 people. Every one of those residents contributes to the identity of this regency. Teachers shaping young minds, doctors caring for patients, farmers cultivating the land, fishermen navigating the sea, entrepreneurs creating new businesses, students preparing for tomorrow, parents working tirelessly to provide better opportunities for their children. Together, they form the true foundation of West Sumbawa's future. Because in the end, a region is never defined only by its borders, its mountains, or its natural resources. It is defined by the dreams of the people who call it home. And in West Sumbawa, those dreams continue to grow with every new generation, carrying forward the same spirit that inspired ordinary citizens to believe they could shape their own future more than 2 decades ago. That spirit remains the Regency's most valuable treasure, one that no mine can extract, no market can price, and no passage of time can ever diminish. But perhaps the greatest lesson West Sumbawa offers has nothing to do with copper, geography, or even economics. It is the lesson that progress begins with courage. The courage to imagine a future that does not yet exist. The courage to speak up when change is needed. The courage to work together despite differences. When the people of Western Sumbawa first proposed establishing their own regency, success was never guaranteed. There were countless meetings, long discussions, different opinions, administrative procedures that demanded patience, years of coordination between community leaders, local government, provincial authorities, and the national government. There were moments when the process seemed slow, moments when uncertainty overshadowed optimism. Yet the people continued moving forward, not because the journey was easy, but because they believed their children deserved better opportunities than the generation before them. That belief became stronger than every obstacle. Today, when visitors travel through Taliwang, the capital of West Sumbawa Regency, they see more than government buildings and busy streets. They see a community that has steadily built its own identity. Schools filled with students who represent the future. Markets where local farmers and fishermen sustain the regional economy. Mosques that continue serving as centers of worship, education, and community life. Small businesses created by entrepreneurs who understand that prosperity is built one customer at a time. Roads that connect villages once separated by difficult terrain. Every improvement tells a story, not a story of overnight success, but a story of consistent progress. One road built, one classroom opened, one health clinic expanded, one family lifting itself into a better life. Development rarely arrives in dramatic moments. Most of the time, it happens quietly. A teacher inspires one student. That student later becomes an engineer. The engineer designs infrastructure that benefits thousands. A farmer experiments with better cultivation techniques. Higher yields increase household income. Children receive better education. A fisherman purchases safer equipment. His catch improves. His family gains greater financial security. These individual stories rarely appear in international headlines, yet together they transform entire regions. This is how nations become stronger, not through isolated achievements, but through millions of ordinary people making extraordinary commitments every single day. West Sumbawa also demonstrates the importance of balance, the balance between economic growth and environmental stewardship, between industrial development and cultural preservation, between modernization and tradition. As technology advances and industries evolve, communities must ensure that economic success never comes at the cost of the natural landscapes that sustain life itself. The forests protecting mountain slopes, the rivers flowing toward coastal villages, the coral reefs supporting marine ecosystems, the fertile valleys feeding local communities. These natural assets are every bit as valuable as the minerals hidden beneath the earth. In many ways, they are even more valuable because healthy ecosystems continue providing benefits for generations: clean water, fresh air, food security, biodiversity, climate resilience. These are forms of wealth that cannot simply be measured on financial statements. They are investments in humanity's future. The younger generation of West Sumbawa now faces opportunities unlike any before them. They are growing up in an era connected to the entire world through digital technology. Knowledge that once required weeks to obtain can now be accessed within seconds. Young entrepreneurs can sell products beyond Indonesia. Students can learn from universities across continents. Local businesses can reach global markets. Innovation is no longer limited by geography. This transformation creates exciting possibilities. Imagine a young software developer working remotely from West Sumbawa or serving international clients. Imagine local coffee, agricultural products, or handcrafted goods becoming recognized around the world through digital commerce. Imagine ecotourism introducing international visitors to West Sumbawa's untouched coastlines while preserving the environment for future generations. Imagine researchers partnering with local communities to develop sustainable agriculture suited to changing climate conditions. These possibilities are no longer distant dreams. They are realistic opportunities for communities willing to invest in education, technology, and collaboration. Yet no matter how much the world changes, certain values remain timeless. Integrity, hard work, respect, cooperation, compassion. These values shaped the movement that created West Sumbawa Regency. They continue shaping its future today. Every generation inherits two things from those who came before: the opportunities they created and the responsibilities they leave behind. The generation that fought for regional autonomy passed forward the opportunity for self-governance. Today's generation carries the responsibility to use that opportunity wisely, to strengthen institutions, to protect natural resources, to invest in education, to encourage innovation, to preserve cultural heritage, and to ensure that development reaches every village, every family, and every child. Because true success is never measured only by economic statistics. It is measured by whether people live healthier lives, whether children receive quality education, whether families feel safe, whether communities remain united, whether future generations inherit a region that is stronger than the one we know today. West Sumbawa's story is still being written. Its next chapter will not be determined solely by governments or corporations. It will be written by students studying late into the night, by teachers inspiring curiosity, by doctors saving lives, by engineers building resilient infrastructure, by farmers adapting to changing climates, by fishermen protecting the seas that have sustained their families for generations, by entrepreneurs willing to take risks, by community leaders who place public service above personal ambition, and by every citizen who believes that meaningful progress begins with individual responsibility. Perhaps that is why West Sumbawa deserves far greater recognition than it often receives. It is not merely a regency on the western edge of Sumbawa Island. It is living proof that determination can reshape history, that local aspirations can become national achievements, that ordinary citizens united by a common purpose can build institutions that improve lives for generations. In a world often consumed by division and uncertainty, West Sumbawa reminds us of something profoundly hopeful. Real change does not always begin in the world's largest cities. Sometimes it begins in quiet villages, in community meetings, in conversations between neighbors, in shared dreams that refuse to fade. And when those dreams are strengthened by courage, unity, wisdom, and perseverance, they become powerful enough to transform an entire region. This is the story of West Sumbawa, a land embraced by the Flores Sea, the Indian Ocean, and the Alas Strait, a land blessed with extraordinary natural wealth, a land shaped by resilient people, a land that chose not to wait for a better future, but to build one with its own hands. And perhaps that is the most inspiring message of all. The greatest treasure of West Sumbawa has never been the copper hidden beneath its mountains. It has always been the unwavering spirit of its people. Because long after every mine has reached the end of its life, long after roads have been widened and skylines have changed, one thing will continue to define this remarkable corner of Indonesia. A community that believed in itself, a people who turned hope into action, and a legacy that will continue inspiring generations long into the future. The story of West Sumbawa is far from finished. Every sunrise brings another opportunity to shape its future. Every child born here represents a new chapter waiting to be written. Every classroom, every fishing boat, every rice field, every marketplace, and every small business contributes another sentence to a story that continues to unfold. The world is changing faster than ever before. Artificial intelligence is transforming industries. Renewable energy is replacing traditional power sources. Digital technology is reshaping education, healthcare, commerce, and communication. Global economies are becoming more interconnected with every passing year. For regions like West Sumbawa, these changes present both extraordinary opportunities and significant challenges. The increasing demand for critical minerals places regions rich in natural resources at the center of the global economy. Copper, in particular, has become one of the most essential materials of the 21st century. Every electric vehicle requires far more copper than a conventional automobile. Every solar farm depends on extensive electrical wiring. Every wind turbine contains large quantities of copper within its generators and electrical systems. Every modern data center relies on enormous networks of copper cables to deliver electricity and maintain reliable operations. As nations pursue cleaner energy and more advanced technologies, the importance of copper continues to grow. This means that West Sumbawa is connected not only to Indonesia's future, but also to the world's transition towards sustainable development. Yet history repeatedly teaches one important lesson. Natural resources alone do not create lasting prosperity. The countries and regions that achieve long-term success are those that invest resource wealth wisely. They build schools before monuments. They strengthen healthcare before luxury. They improve infrastructure before appearances. They prepare future generations rather than depending forever on the industries of today. This is the true meaning of sustainable development. It is not simply extracting wealth from the earth. It is transforming temporary resources into permanent opportunities. Roads that connect communities, universities that educate future leaders, hospitals that save lives, clean water systems that improve public health, digital infrastructure that opens doors to the global economy. These investments continue creating value long after the last mineral has been mined. That is the challenge facing every resource-rich region across the world. And it is also one of the greatest opportunities before West Sumbawa. Imagine what the next 20 years could look like. Imagine young engineers from West Sumbawa leading renewable energy projects across Southeast Asia. Imagine scientists conducting groundbreaking environmental research within the island's forests. Imagine entrepreneurs creating technology companies that employ thousands of local graduates. Imagine sustainable tourism introducing visitors to pristine beaches, dramatic cliffs, traditional villages, and vibrant local culture, while preserving the natural beauty that makes the region so extraordinary. Imagine agricultural innovation, allowing farmers to increase productivity while protecting soil and water for future generations. Imagine fishing communities using modern technology to improve safety, sustainability, and income without exhausting marine ecosystems. These are not impossible dreams. They are realistic possibilities when vision is matched by commitment. But achieving that future requires something more valuable than financial investment. It requires human investment. Education remains the most powerful engine of transformation. A child who learns to read today may become tomorrow's doctor. A curious student fascinated by mathematics may one day design bridges, renewable energy systems, or advanced communication networks. A young entrepreneur may create businesses that provide employment for hundreds of families. Every scholarship awarded, every teacher supported, every library expanded, every laboratory built. These investments produce returns that no stock market can ever match. Knowledge multiplies, skills spread, innovation inspires more innovation. Entire communities rise together. This is why the future of West Sumbawa will never depend solely on what lies beneath its mountains. It will depend on what grows inside the minds of its people. Equally important is the preservation of culture. Economic progress should never erase identity. The traditions passed from one generation to another carry wisdom shaped over centuries. Local languages preserve unique ways of understanding the world. Traditional music reflects the rhythm of community life. Dance tells stories that written history sometimes forgets. Handcrafted textiles and local artistry represent creativity that cannot be replicated by machines. Culture is not a relic of the past, it is a living foundation upon which the future can be built. When visitors experience authentic traditions, they do not simply see performances, they encounter the soul of a community. That cultural richness gives West Sumbawa an identity unlike anywhere else on Earth. Likewise, environmental stewardship must remain at the heart of development. The forests that blanket the mountains are more than beautiful landscapes. They capture carbon, they regulate rainfall, they protect biodiversity, they safeguard watersheds that provide fresh water for agriculture and daily life. Healthy oceans support fisheries. Healthy coral reefs protect coastlines from erosion. Healthy mangrove forests serve as nurseries for countless marine species. Protecting nature is not an obstacle to development, it is one of its greatest foundations. The strongest economies of the future will belong to regions that understand how economic growth and environmental conservation can advance together. West Sumbawa possesses all the ingredients necessary to become one of those regions. Strategic geography, abundant natural resources, strong community values, young talent, rich culture, spectacular landscapes, and above all, a history that proves its people are willing to work together in pursuit of a common vision. When historians look back on the creation of West Sumbawa Regency, they will not simply remember legal documents or administrative boundaries. They will remember a community that believed its future could be better than its past. They will remember ordinary citizens who refused to let distance become destiny. They will remember leaders who transformed aspirations into reality through persistence, dialogue, and cooperation. Those lessons remain just as relevant today as they were more than 2 decades ago. Because every generation faces its own challenges. Previous generations struggled to establish autonomy. Today's generation must ensure that autonomy creates lasting prosperity. Tomorrow's generation will face challenges we cannot yet imagine: climate change, technological disruption, global competition, new economic realities. Yet one principle will always remain unchanged. Communities that remain united, educated, adaptable, and forward-looking will continue finding ways to thrive. Perhaps that is the greatest message hidden within the story of West Sumbawa. Its greatest achievement is not found beneath the ground. Its greatest achievement lives above it, in the determination of parents working tirelessly for their children, in teachers shaping future leaders, in farmers trusting another planting season, in fishermen setting sail before dawn, in healthcare workers serving remote communities, in young dreamers refusing to believe that success belongs only to larger cities. That spirit cannot be measured in tons, it cannot be exported, it cannot be purchased, yet it is infinitely more valuable than any mineral reserve. Because it is the spirit that transforms regions, it is the spirit that builds nations, and it is the spirit that reminds the world that even on the western edge of Sumbawa Island, surrounded by mountains and seas, extraordinary stories continue to rise with every new day. West Sumbawa is more than a place on a map. It is a testament to resilience, a symbol of possibility, a bridge between tradition and progress, a beacon of hope that demonstrates what determined people can accomplish when they believe in their future. And as Indonesia continues its journey toward becoming one of the world's leading economies, the story of West Sumbawa will remain an inspiring reminder that true greatness is never defined by size alone. It is defined by vision, it is defined by unity, it is defined by perseverance. Most importantly, it is defined by people who choose to build a brighter tomorrow, not only for themselves, but for every generation that follows.